Hello, dear students. Hats off to you for organizing this wonderful sixth educational enclave on behalf of Dayapuram College. And this theme is really a real great theme and very, very appropriate at this moment when the whole country, the world, but in our country, especially the so-called disadvantaged sections of population, the oppressed sections are facing a lot. They're suffering due to discrimination, they're suffering due to collapsed economy, and they're suffering due to the changes in the educational pedagogy and technology both. And hence, when you are entering in this dialogue today, it is very important that we really look at the mindsets of the college students. We know that in this country, the students' movements have really raised very, very basic issues. They have participated in the farmers and laborers' movements, and they have also fought for the education as a right and also justice in the overall educational system. And I think that this dialogue amongst you all with your members of the faculty, Ashley Bhai and all of our friends and senior activists in the educational sector, I'm sure that you would not just have a dialogue, but you would conclude with the decisions regarding your own life and your own institution and also your relationship with the society at large. And there we look at the pandemic, when we realize that it was during the lockdown that many things have cracked down upon the life and livelihood of various sections, especially the Dalits, Adivasis, the toiling masses, as we call them. And also the women have faced a lot and are facing a lot. It is not only the issue of hijab, but it's the issue of violence against certain sections, which the fundamentalists have raised and has promoted on the basis of the religion, caste, or even gender discrimination. And during lockdown, what has happened is that the women are especially targeted, even in the form of domestic violence. I'm sure that you as young girls and my friends will take up such issues also and consider the gender discrimination as something that we must fight against. Whether in your family, community, neighborhood, or society, wherever you find injustice, as it was attack against Bindu from Calicut, who was all the time at Ghazipur border with the farmers. She had her own tent called She Point, and she was participating in every activity there. It is such kind of attacks which are taking place in Madhya Pradesh, in Gujarat, and in Haridwar. There has been appeal to really attack. But attack on the women in the name of hijab or love hijab, jihad or whatever needs to be countered with strength. This has been done by the Azim Premji Foundation University, which is great because just in their neighborhood in the state of Karnataka, when the hijab issue came up, they showed courage. And similarly, the Jindal University students showed courage to question Jindal company's attack on the Adivasis in Orissa. So this is possible, and I'm sure you will do it. You also have to work positively towards not empowering women, but empowering men, because we are already empowered. But when we are disempowered, we have to really raise our voice. And that can happen if women, the young girls, start speaking. So speak out, please. Don't feel ashamed, don't feel afraid. With a very humble language also, you can be firm and not kaya, not afraid of anything, but can be fearless. And this violence, domestic violence, needs to be taken on the legal path as well. There is an act after Nirbhaya Andolan and after many struggles, there has been there is a law which you can take up in your hands and take the issues or the situations to the incidents to the police station, and then you have to follow it up till you reach Manzil. It is also realized that livelihood is the worst affected. The young students have been committing suicide, those who belong to the age group of 18 to 30. This is awful. This had happened in West Bengal by the school students years ago. I remember we had to address press on that issue. But it is very essential now to stop suicides, give courage to the students who have passed out but are not getting any employment. They are becoming migrants. If they are Dalit and Adivasi students, and even the graduates among Adivasis work to cut the sugar cane, and what they face, we were amongst them just yesterday in the state of Maharashtra, where interstate migrants were brought from Madhya Pradesh, and no act related to interstate migration is followed. There is no record, there is no agreement, there is no license for the contractor, and so on. You can study these kinds of acts related to laborers. That is urgently necessary. There is an act for construction workers, there is bonded labor, Prevention of Bonded Labor Act, and so on. And you can take up those issues. You need not be a lawyer. I have also not studied law in the colleges, but I have studied it while pleading the cases for the Narmada Dam affected and the others whose cases we took up, and also the cases of corruption. And we can really fight it out with passion, with commitment, with study in the court as well. So friends, you can certainly be offline now. In the pandemic, the relationships amongst the human beings were really spoiled by those who spread false news, false interpretations of certain actions, and false allegations. That kind of baseless media cannot be considered as the real media and a pillar of democracy. We are the pillars of democracy. The bureaucracy, the legislatures, media, and the judiciary have their own role, no doubt about it. But we, the people of India, have to consider ourselves as the first pillar of democracy, and we have to follow the Constitution. And only if you read that preamble of the Constitution every day, like you may be praying every day, you will realize that we have to fight and we have to feel committed to equity and justice. You can start with your own college. You can start with your own classmates. Anyone who is facing hell because his father or mother has lost the job and cannot even purchase books, find out ways out to support them. Find out ways out to feed them who come to the college hungry. And you can certainly initiate certain activities in your own neighborhood where the women's groups or youth groups can be formed, and they can be the real entrepreneurs through very, very small village level or home industries. That is what is written in the Constitution. The Constitution doesn't talk but oppose concentration of wealth in a handful of corporates or the crorepati's hands. And these capitalists really cannot really give employment, and they cannot even work towards equity. We have to raise the issues. We have to oppose inequity, we have to oppose injustice, but also find alternatives. So do think and discuss the alternatives in every sector. Even in education, Googleization is not the alternative. This Googleization has really killed the relationship between the teachers and the students beyond limits. And that also has again led to discrimination against the girl students, because if there is one Android mobile in a family, that is given to the boys than to the girls in the own house. It is also necessary that you take up the practical projects. Once you are out of the pandemic and lockdown, You can reach out to communities, you can reach out. You live in slums for 1 or 2 nights, and that will change your whole of your life. You go and visit the tribals in the Wayanad, and you can visit the people who are dam affected, that is flood affected in Kerala, and consider the opposition to the projects like K-Rail, and learn about that, study that, join the people, listen to them, and then take your own position on what is happening in terms of the economic decisions, the budgeting, and also the corporatization, which the farmers have fought against and won the battle. But the full battle is not yet won, and battles are on. So wherever people gather, whether they fight against Coca-Cola, whether they fight against the illegal sand mining, your teams can really go and do at least fact finding, which really help you to find what is the truth, what is the reality, and then take the path of Satya and Ahimsa on the Mahatma Gandhi's vision. But his statues are being broken. It is Talibani attacks in Bihar, in Champaran, where Mahatma Gandhiji led a very, very strong and unprecedented protest. And he, as well as Bhagat Singh, never really appealed for any forgiveness from the British government. It was only Savarkar. So what is the real history also needs to be found out, because even that is being wiped off or changed and distorted in the present world. So you students who have Google in your hand can, if at all, use that, use it for the betterment, use it for finding the truth, and use it for non-violence, questioning violence in any form. I'm sure your college, which is Dayapuram. So Daya is Karuna, which is one of the Navarasas that we all experience in our life. And that Daya will really help you to take position on many, many issues. And in education, this will be not just extracurricular, but curricular part of your own pedagogy. And your faculty members also, I'm sure, will support this, because they too share the common thinking and common vision with all of us. You can do a lot to save environment, plant trees and help people plant trees so that they will not die without oxygen. And you can certainly take questions related to anything that is happening around, which is killing rivers, which is killing, extracting groundwaters or minerals at the cost of nature and people living with those, including ourselves. So climate change to the political change, climate change to the economic change and social change, everything is in front of you. And that vast arena of work and of decisions and thinking is appealing to you all through me to an extent. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity for this dialogue. And I wish that this 6th educational conclave will really bring in real change, psychological, social, economic, in your life itself. Thank you very much.